What's up, guys? Today we're gonna conquer that mountain right there. That one right there. It's pretty big. So I'm glad to be back. I kind of took a little bit of a break, but I thought would kind of do a fun video, even though the topic is going to be mostly talking about some current things going on with a lot of people, including myself. While we're talking about that, we're going to kind of ease the blow, and we're going to try to have some fun on this mountain before it rains. I think it's totally going to be I think it's going to be a fun time. I've been kind of wanting to make this video for a while. There's a lot of toxic people on the internet right now, and I'm kind of noticing, like, when someone makes a mistake, I just feel like the general public, or I guess the average TikTok viewer, goes on there and they act like, you know, that everything they say and do is best, and they do no wrong, and they say no wrong, and all that, and it's getting kind of old. And a lot of people can take criticism. I'm one of those people that can take the criticism. It doesn't really affect me that much because I don't know you. I don't really value a hater's opinion, because that's kind of their whole stance, is just being negative. And if that's your whole stance, I kind of just take it as you're a miserable person. You're trying to project your misery onto other people, and you do it by being a hater on the internet. And if that's the way you want to be, that's fine. But a lot of us don't operate that way. A lot of us are trying to find some type of peace, or trying to find a mediator through all this chaos. And a lot of people want to talk about, you know, the politics of what's getting them down, or whatever the lifestyle you have that's kind of getting you down. You shouldn't let anything get you down, ever, because there's no point of being that way. There's no point. There's no point of being upset. There's no point of being in this weird place we're in right now, which unfortunately a lot of people are in. And you know, you can blow off your steam any way you want to. You know, everyone's got their avenues. Everybody's got their way of doing it. That you need to find a way to disassociate yourself from the negativity, and whatever that may be is probably the best thing for you. Don't let anybody bring you down. And I'm going to make this as simple as I can. If you're letting someone bring you down, don't ever let them. Because I see it way too much. I see a lot of people on the internet, and they'll make a simple mistake, or even, you know, a life-altering mistake. I mean, let's take the thing that happened to me last year. It's well over 1 million views. It's almost 2 million views at this point. And it's just nothing but people being negative and, oh, I told you so type stuff. And I will tell you right now that, I know I shifted gears in a turn. That's a no-no. Usually the people are kind of pulling out of there, so I kind of just brace to slam that brake. I don't have ABS. I'm all old school here. Don't let anybody bring you down. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do, because all that's going to do in the long run is make you more upset than you should be. And I'm going to tell you that that is not the way to be. You need to find an outlet. You need to find a hobby, or, you know, maybe not even you. Maybe these people that are just constantly hating need to find a hobby, besides being just a miserable asshole all the time. I just saw a video where somebody, they did, I think they high-sided. That's what it looked like in the video. What he did is he gave it too much throttle entering the on-ramp going to a highway. And what he did is, depending on your tire or tire pressure or even balancing or throttle control, you know, and he could have been in first gear, he gave it a little too much, or, you know, he just kind of had, you know, he wasn't used to kind of ripping into it in a really low gear. And everybody is just being a complete asshole to him. And I saw that, and it really kind of upset me, because it's kind of a simple mistake. You know, these things happen a lot, and you can't really blame him for that, because he's probably a rider that's just kind of started, and stuff like that does happen to people that are not familiar with motorcycles. I mean, and it can happen to people that, you know, ride. I mean, if you've ever been to the track, you kind of relearn every little aspect of riding there is, and it does happen. You know, if you're on a track and anytime you're pushing your limits, there's gonna be, you know, some learning curves, and some of them are not good. Some of them are bad, and a lot of the topics that I'm gonna go over is you shouldn't let anybody on the internet, especially complete strangers that have nothing to do with your life, bring you to a point of being just depressed. I mean, this kid, maybe he's young, or maybe he was just kind of being over dramatic, but he was like, I'm gonna blow my brains out because of all the mean comments and stuff. And to me, that's a little much. I mean, I wouldn't say that on the internet. Yet again, there's no telling his age, but you know, if someone is bringing you down that bad, you should definitely talk to somebody. That is a serious thing. There's a lot of people that are actually dealing with that topic and an everyday thing. You know, depression's real with people. A lot of people don't have an avenue, or really a lot of people don't have anybody to talk to that's positive. Hoping that my platform can kind of help out a little bit. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a therapist or anything, because I'm definitely not, but, and I would never tell anybody that I am. I would never falsely say I'm doing anything for my own benefit. But I will say, as a person that has kind of been down the rabbit hole of depression, I will say that a lot of the problems I had in my youth with dealing with it, I took everybody's opinions to heart, and I really did kind of like bank on how people felt about me. And you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't let anybody have that much control over you, ever. You shouldn't, because if you do and they know that, they're just going to keep on doing it. And if it's on your platform, and this is kind of going out on like a pretty wide spectrum, a lot of the people that are going through this are people that are, you know, starting out being motovloggers or content creators. As long as you're not dancing around your motorcycle wearing a furry helmet, or, you know, being like dancing moto and being a fucking pedophile, I want to reach out to the people that are not those people. Those people I don't give a fuck about. I hate to be that way, but, you know, especially the pedophile stuff, I have no sympathy for you. You don't even deserve to go to prison. You deserve to just be hung. And especially if you are proven to be one, you have no sympathy from ClutchUpCaz. You're a monster. But other than that, I will say this: you can always come to my channel, and if you ever need anybody to talk to, or if there's a certain video you want me to make, I will be there. Try to be as much help as I can. I'm a small creator. I don't really have to, you know, appease anybody. My channel doesn't really have full-on like a topic that I do. It's not that serious. I just motovlog. I don't really do a lot of racing, and I don't really record any of that stuff. I'm not a stunt rider. I don't think doing a clutch up wheelie and a chaser could ever categorize me as a stunt rider. I'm still working on rear brake control, and whenever I get that mastered, I'm probably going to probably do some wheelie tutorials and, you know, just how to fine-tune stuff like that. All I do is clutch ups, and unfortunately I do a lot of chasers. Being a dirt bike rider, that's kind of what you did. And I'm not trying to ever say that I'm a stunt rider. I am not a stunt rider. I'm just a motovlogger that likes riding all different types of motorcycles, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. I don't have anything absolutely crazy. You know, the craziest thing about my content is, you know, there's a wreck in it if you scroll in my YouTube or TikTok. But for months and even till now, ooh, that was a big pothole. That hurt. But even now, I still get a lot of pretty rough comments from people. And, you know, I understand I was speeding, and I understand that, you know, there were houses near me, but people are making it out to be like, oh, I'm in a residential area, as in like I'm in a neighborhood. That is not a neighborhood. That is a 40 to 45 mile an hour road, and people fly through there. Nobody's gonna let their animals out on the road if they even know, and they're definitely not gonna let their kids out there. I will tell you that until I turn blue. I made a mistake, and I know that, and I even titled the video, hey, I made a mistake. There was not one part of that whole entire thing where I was like, yeah, I'm proud of this, and is a victim, and blah, 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 blah. Definitely not a victim. But enough about that. This is about you. And, you know, anybody that's wanting to motovlog or anything like that, they're just wanting to get out there and have their voice on something, or, you know, if you're going to have any type of content, I will be the first and of many that'll say, hey, you should keep on doing that. I'm not going to be the person that's going to be like, no, you shouldn't do that, it's cringy and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to do that. Like I said, as long as you're not doing the cringy stuff, like, I don't really, if your thing's dancing, you know, that's cool, but I just don't see what that has anything to do with motorcycle content. And I could just be dating myself as an older person, and that's probably most truthful thing I can say about how I feel about that. But I don't really believe that we should continue with all the negativity that's going on. I just teleported on the other side of the map. As you can see, we're a little bit further into the clouds, so I'm trying to get home now. But what I was talking about earlier, don't let anybody get in your mind. It is a form of control. And also, just quit giving a damn what people think anyways. Bit of a situation. There was one of the fine boys in blue right there kind of doing an old U-turn on me. I had to get myself out of the situation. I didn't run from them. I just had to be a law-abiding citizen for a while. We're many miles the other direction from where we left off. We were up on the mountain. Now we're down past the valley where all the river is. Kind of a long route. This is actually my longest route. This is actually where I had my wreck last year. Right here. Right there. Right before that mailbox right there. You can still see all the, I don't know how that's still there. Teleported once again. This time way closer to home. I think I'm gonna beat the raid. Very good news for me, I guess. Also, I notice a lot of people that watch my videos are not liking or sharing or really just subscribing to me. It does kind of help me out, continue to make more content and, you know, record better quality things. Please do those things. I promise it gets better. I promise that there's going to be even more content. I plan on doing some traveling and really want to get into reviews, bike reviews, gear review and stuff like that. Since I am a motovlogger and plus I have been riding for a long time, maybe I should start throwing out my 2 cents. Rock! Going back on a few videos ago, let's talk about all the flock cameras. Let's do that. In my area, it is like, I don't know what it is, but I get like, it feels like there's 10 more every week. And I'm sure it's like that in your little town. The bad thing is I've noticed that they're all going to the nicer neighborhoods and playgrounds, schools, and stuff like that. So tell me if you're getting any of that. If anyone's having issues with noticing where these flock cameras are, like I am, they're not in the places that they should be. You know, where the crime's at. There's no crime right here, but they are all over the place. I mean, does this look like a really high crime area? Oh yeah, that place right there. that one and that one, yeah, crime ridden, scary, danger, all these things. Farm right there, just, oh yeah, looted with Bloods and Crips. Here, you know what all this is about. You know it's all the same thing over and over again. They're cataloging us. Cataloging the adults, the children, the teenagers. You gotta understand, a bunch of satanic pedophiles that eat children. If you're at the point where I'm at, you know there's no picking sides anymore. Yes, there's some sides that kind of fit better with your moral dilemma, but in all honesty, there is no point in picking sides. The only thing you need is, you need Jesus. That's what you need. That's the only thing you gotta worry about. What would Jesus do? What would the Bible say? You know, what would be that? That'd probably be the safest avenue. I wouldn't really wonder what the president's saying, or the next president, or any of the, you know, the previous ones, because they all pretty much do the same thing. They all hump the same wall. I have no sympathy for them. I have no aspirations of following these people or listening to anything they got to say, because I've gotten to a point where they're all the same, and I just don't really care what they have to say or do anymore. I'm just going to do my own thing, and you should too. And you should mind your own business, and you should only care about your people, and that's it. And that's really the only thing, the big secret of finding happiness, finding your own peace, is only to worry about what's in your perimeter. Anything on the outside of it, 90% of the time you have zero control over it, and you shouldn't worry about it, because all it's going to do is it's just going to make you mad, and you're going to be on the internet, on a comment section, being that guy, and you don't want to be that guy. It's not a good look, especially if you're older. It's really not a good thing. You're just going to be like an angry boomer, like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be having fun. They shouldn't be. I'll tell you what I would have done. I'll tell you what I was taught in 1977. You know, you don't want to get in that thing, because pretty soon you'll be like, I'll tell you what they told me in 2015. Yeah, way back in the day. You don't want to be that guy. Don't want to be that guy. What you want to be is, you want to be the cool old guy that sticks to himself, takes care of his own, is a good friend, and tries their best to be the best person they can and the most godly person they can be. Someone that is humble and always trying to learn more. Not someone that is complacent, not someone that feels like everything they say is just better than anyone else. Once you figure that part out of life, it does get a little easier. The only bad thing is you are getting older, which means you got to start taking care of yourself, and your body starts kind of falling apart. But that's something you'll learn how to manage and deal with and fix, and make things better with just cutting out some negative things in your life. And negative things can be more than just, you know, bad people or bad influence. You know, cutting out some bad food and drinks and smoke, just cutting that stuff out will probably make your life better. You know, simple as that. So I implore you to go on a good journey of finding peace and being a better person, and not worrying about all these little things that are going on right now, because no one's going to look out for you except for you. And that's just the truth. How rough is your driveway? Part 2. I'm going to show you how rough this driveway is right here.